if you've not done the work on your culture, when they get into your business, they're going to realize that you've not done the work on your culture. So that's the reason why I kind of talk about that a lot. You have to make sure that, what you're selling is what the experience is when the talent gets into your business.
It is really important that you don't just say, well, now we've got women, we'll just let them out there to give it their best shot, and then, if they don't succeed, well, that'll just prove that this was the wrong place for women, won't it? That's not good enough. So we introduce better onboarding and integration of our female team members into our plant. We certainly provide them with on-the-job support and coaching and mentoring from senior women managers. We make sure that where we have women working on shift crews, that we have at least 2 on any shift crew, because it's always nice to have a buddy. On a very practical basis, we also introduced a new maternity leave policy, which gives our women the opportunity to come back to work part-time as they're re-entering the workforce. And then after a couple of months in that, they have the opportunity to either elect to remain part-time or to return to a full-time role.
I think there's got to be attitudinal change and people genuinely embracing diversity and inclusion as something that's desirable in the workplace, and looking for ways to make it actually happen. I'm absolutely of the view that for women in particular, one needs to have career path conversations, exploring ways to help women move through the ranks and achieve their potential, but looking at ways of doing it that probably have not been the historical norm. We've got to start being more creative about this. How do we keep women engaged? How do we use that talent, recognizing that many have responsibilities at home that impinge on their hours and capacity to work full time.
I think the other thing we can do is to talk to the women that we have in our business, and to understand what is keeping them, in our industry or within our business, and for those who are not staying, what is causing them to leave, so that we can begin to leverage, what is keeping the women we currently have in our business, and try to address some of the challenges for others deciding to leave our industry.
I think making sure that there's some visibility around the growth opportunities and next steps, which is if that's not well known, it's hard to see what the future opportunities could bring. So quite a bit of effort is put into having those open and honest conversations about the individual, where the individual would like to take their careers, and linking that back into the opportunities within the business.
So in terms of retention, I think training opportunities are very important, and also being able to transfer, if that's possible, into different facets of the organization, or even sideways, to see how your colleagues are doing the same type of role, perhaps in a different country. So that's critical in terms of retaining people.
One, it's around the culture that is found in many organizations still, where the perception of women being able to make it in an environment where it's physical or it's perceived to be a man's world, it's still a big issue. So a lot of young graduates come in with qualifications in mining engineering or mechanical engineering, and they are keen and they want to come in and operate, but you find that the culture has not been prepared to be able to embrace them. So that's why the whole issue around cultural change is important. So that's one area. The second one is making sure that we deal with the issues around the actual physical space. We still find in some organizations that even the change rooms, something as basic as that, are not enabling women to feel comfortable or safe just for their own personal safety, because those have not been converted into spaces that are private and that can be for women. So it's a big issue that even from a Minerals Council of South Africa perspective, we are championing and pushing with all the CEOs to say the physical space for women should be created so that they feel the physical safety, and also on top of that to make sure that they feel protected when they are in the workplace.
So, we can make this answer as difficult as get the right policies in place, make sure you have the right practices, have the right development programs. But I will simply put it down to ensure that a woman as a new recruit is supported across the board to make sure that she is best set up for success. Bring her in, make sure she is supported, give her opportunities, right, to voice her opinion, give her room to do that, but more so take risk on her career development. And some of the things that have worked for me in my roles, both as CEO and in other C-suite roles, is being innovative in how we do this. Because if we had to wait for spaces to be created to allow this to happen, we'd be waiting for a long time. So I used to look at deputy positions, shadow positions for women, just to make sure that they had that seat at the table, so that they did have the voice where it matters most. So the real innovation here is not just sticking to traditionally what's worked well for recruiting and developing a man in the industry, but looking for how can we accelerate closing the gap through innovation in how do we actually recruit, develop and retain.